This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Who Podcast The Watchmen. I am Phil. Once again, Tyler could not join us. He may pop in at the end, but once again, the man, the myth, the Esser, the professor.
Charlie, the Professor Esser. That's me.
That's right.
Live from New Jersey. No squids allowed.
For another big episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll get into that. But did you grab the IMDb info?
I got it right in front of me. I'm waiting to do my dramatic voice reading.
Nice.
Are you ready, Philip?
Hold on, we'll let the music play, and yeah, then we'll
let music play.
I can't wait to talk this one.
Oh, this was great.
I thought the last one was big. Holy!
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. This one squares the circle between the Snyder movie and this one, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
In a minute. Okay. Tonight's episode, Season 1, Episode 7, An Almost Religious Awe. Under Lady True's care, Angela undergoes an unconventional treatment. Laurie chases down a lead. The smartest man in the world delivers a stunning defense of his past actions. Of course, our writers on this, we have Dave Gibbons as the graphic novel writer. And a few steps down, we get that Alan Moore guy who apparently also had something to do with this. And then Damon Lindelof gets the created by for the series with Stacy Osei Kufauer getting that writer credit on this one.
Nice.
Yes. Oh man, this was an episode.
Oh yeah.
Because we actually get her coming back into. We get Angela getting her own memories in this.
Yeah, she's like kind of flashing back to her own memories since she's getting the treatment to rid her of her grandfather's memories.
Yeah, and we get that, of course, obviously America had conquered Vietnam, not Korea for some reason. So, I mean, to be fair, I guess maybe Eisenhower
both. I mean, it's Dr. Manhattan. He could have did both.
Yeah, but I guess maybe Eisenhower didn't want to use use Manhattan. Because I always say, sending superheroes into the war. It was one thing when as a publicity stunt they sent them during World War II.
Oh yeah,
it's a whole other thing when you have Dr. Manhattan, and really. If nothing else, if you want to say what is the meaning of the comedian's name, it's that he knows he's a joke. He says life's a joke, but he's like, he's not in Vietnam, conquering Vietnam. It's like he's literally just Dr. Manhattan's sidekick.
Yeah, no, he's just another soldier.
Yeah. This was the first time that I noticed that Laurie is actually using her father's last name.
Oh, yeah, Blake, that's what I was saying. Just like her attitude and just the last name. In the movie, like I said, she was more like her mother, but in the series, I think she's been taken more after her father.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's something in the last issue of Watchmen where she kind of is incorporating more of her father's costume.
Oh yeah,
when you're talking about the redesign, and I think there was some talk that in some sketches she was like, back when Alan Moore was like, oh, it's a self-contained thing, it could never be done again. He was like, yeah, and then she becomes the comedian, and and all that kind
and
of
I mean,
stuff.
basically, she's a government agent now. I mean, the comedian was working for the government, so.
And she may want to separate her identity from either whether it was Jew or Osterman.
Oh yeah.
Although, man, we get an interesting reveal about Mr. Osterman in this one. Oh, Phil, you're He's frozen here.
I'm not frozen. You're. Can you hear me?
Philip?
Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Uh-oh. Papa, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Philip. Okay. You can see and hear me. I can't see and hear you.
Uh-oh.
So, that's odd. I don't know why you're frozen like that on my side. Okay. Well, moving right along. Refresh this real quick.
Okay. So, yes. So did he say Osterman? So did he say we did get something with with Manhattan? Yes.
Right there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see and hear you now, but you were looking frozen there for a minute, so I don't know what happened. Moving right along. Yeah, so getting back to, so let's just take this in chronological order. It's the awakening of Angela Abar.
Yes.
Which, here's the thing. There are like a dozen hints in this episode about Kelvin that I don't know if we've gotten before this episode.
You know what? The biggest one was staring us in the face the whole time. What does she call him? She doesn't call him by his full first name.
What does she call him?
She always calls him Cal.
Oh, like Kal-El?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're always smacking us in the face with Superman references. I'm like,
I mean, that could be it. But in this one we get, well, so first off, there's one thing that I thought was most interesting, because when he does show up, he says his name is Kelvin Abar.
Yes.
And Abar is Angela's last name.
Yes.
Now, granted, this is the modern world, and yeah, men take their wives' names from time to time, but it's an interesting point of order. When Madame True mentions the fact that total anterior retrograde amnesia, it's very uncommon.
It almost never happens outside of fiction.
Exactly. Which I thought was interesting, and I guess to me it's like, did we get that he had severe anterograde retroanterograde it's anterograde amnesia prior to this?
I don't think so. That's what I'm trying. I don't think they mentioned it before this episode. But you know what else was funny? Remember a couple episodes back, Lori went to talk to him, and I don't know, I guess question him or something. She's like, "Oh yeah, I really like your husband." I'm like, oh, of course she likes her husband.
Yes. Well, boy, man, now she knows. Now she knows how what Sally felt. Was it Sally or was it Sarah? I forget who. But
that Dr. Manhattan has a type, man. He goes after the daughters and granddaughters of heroes, masked vigilantes.
Well, apparently, yeah. Well, it's, oh man, it's hard, and it's hard being an immortal demigod. So yeah, that's our big reveal at the end of this. Spoilers.
Yes.
Just because it's just so we're not dancing around it the whole time. As it turns out, Cal is actually Dr. Manhattan.
So we really didn't get the answers to how and why. We're gonna get that, I guess, next week. But it's
did you see the trailer for next week?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Did Manhattan fashion this body from scratch, or did Kelvin die and did he take his body?
Based on what we see at the end of it, I get the feeling that he manufactured this body.
Yeah.
That it was basically like synthesizing any other set of elements.
Maybe some Vite technology involved here?
I don't think so. I think that's 100% him. I think he just made the choice to basically they're doing the anti-apotheosis story, which is essentially the founding myth of Christianity.
Yeah.
That, God became man to walk amongst us and learn our ways. Although, so you get both the Hercules mythos of the man who becomes God, and then the Christ mythos of the God who becomes man.
Mm-hmm.
So, Fun all around. Fun in a bun. Interesting in the subject matter is we get, of course... Okay, so this is what I want to talk about, because this, to me, is the most fascinating aspect of both the Snyder version of the superhero origins and this version. Now, in the original book. So in the original books, it is the story of how Hooded Justice shows up one day, and he's the inspiration for other people to put on costumes, including, of course, Hollis, right?
Hollis Mason, yeah.
Yeah, Hollis Mason. Now, when we get to the Snyder version, Hollis Mason tells a different origin story about how actually it was the gangs who started first, that they'd put on fright masks and things like that to sort of organize themselves because it would freak people out and they wouldn't know what they were dealing with. And so, as you said, some of us got the idea, why don't we put on masks and scare them right back? And how this splits the difference, and how this speaks to, let's say, the privileged perspective of people of both the Snyder version and other versions, where they want to say, oh, we started wearing masks, was that gangs had always been wearing masks. And we get this with the Cyclops. When Laurie is discussing the Cyclops, where she essentially says, oh, that was a white supremacist group using mind control, that had a fetish for mind control, essentially.
Yeah.
And first off, the first thing about it is, wow, that's super comic book supervillainy. And B, guys wearing masks and costumes to scare people. And this was something that had always been there, always been a part of the mythos of America. That you always had these groups of people wearing masks to commit terror. And the idea of the heroes putting on the masks in response to that follows through. Although, ironically, only the first hero understands that it's in response, not in mimicry of the person who first does it. So, I mean, it's a great way to sort of answer both questions in a way that, as Lilith would say, this is something Charlie Esser would like.
Yeah.
It responds to something I liked in the Snyder film and takes in what was from the original book and ties it together in such a beautiful way to create a story where a universe exists where, yes, there were villains in masks, but there had always been villains in masks, even if we never realized it. And then one man puts on a mask to attack villains. And that is what leads to the entire superhero movement. One thing I love about this that is honestly a slap in the face to Mr. Moore, and an intentional slap in the face to Mr. Moore. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
No.
The movie Sister Night. None with a gun. So, and this is something because, Alan Moore made this thing, well, of course, there wouldn't be superhero comics if you had a world with superheroes. Because, you have superheroes in real life. Why would you want to read a comic book about them? Meanwhile, we have cops in real life. We have FBI agents in real life. What are some of the most popular shows on TV?
Oh, yeah. Law and Order, NCIS, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We love what is the closest thing to heroism we can get. So if you had real superheroes, obviously there's going to be stories about superheroes. And I love the fact that she is also taking inspiration from this nun with a gun, this Sister Knight, to create her own persona. And it also creates an interesting idea for these cops within the entire Tulsa PD. Now, it's interesting to me because now I wonder if that's just Tulsa that has this, or just it's Oklahoma, right? Just Oklahoma that has decided cops should wear masks, or if this is a nationwide thing. It's interesting to me, and I'm guessing it has to be nationwide because just having the cops in Oklahoma be like this doesn't seem to make a real dent, unless like somehow Oklahoma has become like the major population center in the U.S. as people try to get away from New York.
Could be.
It's an interesting question there. That's some alternate history stuff that it's probably in the show notes if you go to the Watchmen.com website. By the way, I did live tweet this episode. I don't know if anyone saw it, but I did.
I did see a little bit. Yeah, like towards that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a few of it. I fell asleep a few times, just in case of having to wake me up. But
but like all the Dr. Manhattan stuff, like just blew everything else out of the water. But we got so many other things in this episode too. I mean, the Adrian Veidt stuff. I mean, I know they were saying on their official podcast that time must be moving differently for Veidt because the trial's been going for 365 days already.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me about that, here's a fun thought experiment in that. We don't know when all of the stuff we've seen with Adrian Veidt has occurred prior to this.
Oh yeah.
So this could be Veidt doing this stuff, 10 years after everything occurred, or 10 years before, or
I just wonder though too, is maybe that's part of his trap, that maybe like he gets to experience, I don't know, years, decades or more, but he doesn't die. But it's just almost like his personal hell almost.
Well, yeah, and that would lead to that idea of it actually being rather than being him actually and to that extent, we get a hint of that in this when True plays Angela the video by injecting it into her.
Oh yeah.
Which goes back to that idea of creating memories from nothing.
That, oh my Lord, that's like Lilith and Maz's worst nightmare. She basically injected a commercial when they were
yeah, exactly. And for like the fifth time. So which I also love in that. And man, it is a beautiful thing. Just the way all the like a complex clockwork thing. It's just everything sort of fits together. And it like knows exactly when to rhyme with the source material. Like, for example, as just before the trapdoor button gets pushed.
I love it. Lori, what are you doing? It just drops it.
Yeah. But like she's like, oh, I'm sorry, was I not supposed to reveal my entire master plan at this point?
Judd's wife, yeah.
It's just kind of ridiculous. Also a little bit ridiculous that when she's trying to push these buttons, she doesn't immediately like jump up.
That's what I was thinking, especially like that at first it just like it dropped, but it didn't open completely. If I was Lori, I would have jumped up and like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, granted, she's an older woman at this point. It's like, 20 years after the 80s. Trust me, I know how it is, but she's still fairly spry.
And at least she at least should have yelled, don't push any more buttons.
Yeah, she should have pulled her freaking gun and shot her in the head.
Exactly.
She could bang. I ain't Batman. I'm not afraid of guns. And speaking of Batman, as I predicted, Looking Glass went all Batman on the 7th Cavalry.
Oh yeah, he killed him. There was a bunch of dead bodies in his bunker.
Yeah. Well, maybe not Batman, but definitely Punisher.
Oh, yeah.
Punished them. Yeah. Totally was not a person to be taken lightly. And
so I just wonder where he's going to show up. Is he going to ride in to help Angela, or is he going to like free Lori, or both?
Yeah, well, I would imagine his most likely outcome is he's going to go back to Lori. Well, he's going to go back to the.
Well, yeah, he knows where that department store is. So
yes, so he's probably going to go back there, which is going to get him to free Lori. Of course, Lori tied to the chair. It's randomly ridiculous in its own supervillainous way. It is sort of just this weird thing where it's like they can't help but embrace the supervillain tropes.
Oh my Lord, the senator. Oh my Lord.
Yes. Oh, oh, God. And just like, we're not white supremacists. We just feel that we need to put the nation back where it needs to be.
It's such a hard time to be a white man.
So he's going to try to be
it's a hard time. It's hard these days being a white male.
Yes, I know. And this also feeds into the idea that, again, one of these things that, like all of the missed things that I feel like Alan Moore never pursued, which is like, why does no one else try to create a Dr. Manhattan? Why didn't the Russians just throw people into intrinsic field generators like one after another?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like maybe they tried, because I'm like, why are these 7th Cavalry guys so sure they can recreate the experiment? Are they just going to start blowing themselves up until they get it right?
Well, I mean, arguably, I imagine that it's supposed to be the senator, so it's like he knows he's got it,
Oh, I thought he said they were going to turn all of them into blue people. All the cavalry into blue people.
Oh no, I don't think so. Okay. That would be ridiculous. I mean, that would be ridiculous. One Dr. Manhattan's bad enough. You don't want. First off, if you're going to be a Dr. Manhattan, you don't want a bunch of Dr. Manhattan.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, they can't be using guinea pigs either, because what if you succeed? Then this person you
exactly
forced to get against their will to do this is going to kill you.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe they're going to try and like make more than one Dr. Manhattan, but since they're trying to kill, like their intention is to kill the current Dr. Manhattan, I guess use his powers to create a new Dr. Manhattan. I would imagine that it is just it's your basic Doctor Doom. I will steal the power from the Silver Surfer. Ha ha!
Oh.
Now I have the power cosmic.
Remember, Veidt was putting on that play about the origin of Dr. Manhattan and everything? Mm-hmm. What if Veidt had notes on it? Maybe what if Veidt was in the process of trying to create his own turn himself into a Dr. Manhattan?
And for what it's worth, that is that again, how we talk about squaring the circle between the Snyder version and this Watchmen version,
Maybe that's what got him locked up. He was trying, to play with these forces and turn himself into another Dr. Manhattan.
I mean, I don't know, really. I mean, it's such a complex thing. Part of me thinks, and this is what I think, I really think that we're going to be getting a scene. First off, is Robert Redford signed to be in this?
I thought I heard so. I thought they did cast him, but
I get the feeling there's going to be a situation where it does get to be Redford and Veidt and Dr. Manhattan sitting down and talking about what they're going to do next.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, Redford getting to be the hero here and saying, listen, you're too dangerous and you're too dangerous too. You both need prison. I can't have you manipulating the world, and so whatever they're going to create, they have to create for themselves. And in that sense, maybe it's that Veidt creates his prison and then Manhattan creates his own prison as well. And as we see in the preview of and I love that they've actually, it's like they made Dr. Manhattan blue, but just like normal blue, like not like glowing blue.
Yes.
Which is more in line with what the comic books had, making him just a person who is blue. But we see him like pick up a mask, put it on. The idea being he's putting on the mask of being this person.
Plus, I wonder too if you can form your own body, or you're just going to be plain blue. Because if you're glowing, or is he made himself plain blue to put people at ease, so they're not like, oh crap, he's radioactive. Nobody go near him.
Well, if you remember in the actual books, he's blue, but he's never shown to be glowing.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
They actually have him glowing because CGI. You're going to pay for all that CGI money. You might as well make him spectacular. Gotta give him some glitter, make him fabulous. The fabulous Dr. Manhattan. One night only at Gila Flats.
But no, I just wondered, if they did have a conversation with the president, or I was gonna say, did Manhattan create Veidt's prison, and then Dr. Manhattan agreed to imprison himself in the immortal form. So it's like the only person who could free Veidt is Dr. Manhattan. And if Dr. Manhattan don't remember he's Dr. Manhattan, there's no way Veidt's getting free.
Oh, I'm going to go you one better. I still think Veidt designed his own prison.
Okay.
And as Lady True says, about how everything that is her grows from Veidt's work.
Mm-hmm.
What if Veidt created the nostalgia drug? and then use that to create this, to basically chemically imprint memories into people. And so he knows he's in a chemically generated simulation.
Ah.
And he's trying to find out how he can break out of it. You know, because he knows that his mind, he's basically stuck in a dream state, but a controlled dream state that was generated by him with certain parameters of memory that are as real as anything and that he cannot break out of. In fact, I'm going to suggest that Vite is currently being held by Lady True.
I don't know, because again, I think he's her father. Because did you catch? You know, we got the creepy thing where she her daughter's actually her mother. She cloned her mother, and she's feeding her back her old memories. And then Angela says, "Are you just your father here too?" And she's like, "He'll be here."
Yes. Well, what I get the feeling of, she has to have the body because the statue looks exactly like Vite. And the old Vite.
Yeah.
The Jeremy Irons Vite. Not, whoever played him in the Snyder Cut. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes. Release the Snyder Cut of Watchmen. Actually, I think they have released the Snyder Cut of Watchmen. And if you've seen that, then you know exactly what to expect from the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Because I didn't know if she had Vite or if she was. Is that what this Millennium Clock is going to do once it's turned on? Bring Vite back?
No, I don't think Vite's supposed to come back. I mean, that's the thing. I think what the Millennium Clock is, what I actually think the Millennium Clock is supposed to do is, create a de-intrinsicanizing field so that no one can be a Dr. Manhattan.
Oh.
I just made that up just right now, but that would seem like the most logical way to try and stop the idea of the Cyclopsians making their own Dr. Manhattan to conquer the world. And
because Lady True, when Angela says, "Oh, you're trying to tell me you're trying to save the effing world," that's what I'm trying to tell you, Angela. I'm trying to save the effing world.
Yes, because like Manhattan right now is contained. And, but these people want to recreate it and use it for their own advantage. And that's a bad thing.
And then, so right before the big reveal of Kelvin as Dr. Manhattan, Lady True's like, "Yeah, Manhattan's, he's not on Mars. He's here in Tulsa." She's like, "And you aren't asking who he is." She's like,
Yes, exactly. I also found it interesting that when she goes to look for, she assumes it's her grandfather who is the live host.
Oh, yeah.
But then the live host is actually an elephant, which I thought was interesting, to say the least. Elephants do have very complex brains. No, and maybe they would actually be the perfect host to sort of clear out your synovial fluid that is cluttered up with other people's memories. I don't know how any of this works, and neither does writers.
But again, too, it's like, where did her grandfather get to? Why isn't he taking his memories back?
Well, because maybe he wasn't that demented to start with.
Maybe.
In fact, I think the last time we saw him, he was actually standing up, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he was standing and walking and talking to Lady True, really, totally cool with everything. And it's like, and it's your classic thing about being a person out that you don't suspect,
or
that the guy you don't think he is that's the best way to hide, being a mild-mannered reporter.
Or are they storing those memories because is she going to clone him a new body too?
I mean, she could, although at the moment it looks like, if we're not going to assume that the beings that are the beings who take care of
Vite
are clones. Because that's the thing. It's like, now they say when he pulls us from the vats, but that may be how they describe it. Maybe that's how Vite is meant to see it. You got to understand, Vite's being fed false memories. So here's my theory. Vite is being fed these false memories. He knows they're false memories. And now he needs to figure out how to break them. Which, fun fact, did you see the new Teen Titans movie? Teen Titans Go movie?
No,
Beast
no,
Boys?
no. Oh wait, the Doom Patrol one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Most of it, yeah.
Where they basically spoil this entire series. Where where Beast Boy explains all you gotta do is turn your brain upside down, and then the virtual reality program can't talk to it no more. Spoilers! Mike's trying to turn his brain upside down right now. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that on Super Connectivity last week, and I forgot. That was one of the topics I wanted to discuss. We'll remember it for this week. But yeah, essentially what Vite is trying to do is figure out how to get his brain to restructure itself so that he can get out of these memories, because that's why he gives that impassioned defense that he does.
Oh yeah, because the game warden, who's the judge, is like, we've had 365 days of the prosecution. You've refused to speak in your own defense. So he stands up and is like, okay.
Oh, you there you go. Yeah, he's got the drop. I was going to do it the old-fashioned way, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I'm like, that seems almost a little crude for Vite, but
but he knows it's a joke, and
true.
To that extent, when the judge brings in the pigs, it's again the continuation of the joke.
A jury of peers, yes.
Yeah, because in Vite's defense, he says, he's committed, he has actually memorized every person he killed. Because he's just that smart. But maybe so, but the idea that he actually weighs huge guilt about what he had to do, but he felt it was the only way because, and, much like Reed Richards, he is sitting in there in that spot where he's cracked this, mathematical formula to figure out how societies evolve. And he's like, wow, man, how do I keep it from completely turning into, everything bad? And it's like, well, this is the way. Although again, that comes down to that, Rick and Morty paradox of if you're just shooting for an end goal, do you miss every other choice you can make? I don't know if you saw the last Rick and Morty where he's got the little, not Brotherhood of the Cyclops, but the little mind gem that tells him how he will die, and it's wacky. Yeah, this was a great episode, though. We get the existence of fictional superheroes, which is a new addition to the concept of Watchmen, which I really appreciate. We get the history of Angela, and also getting this interesting take about both her grandmother, who, man, that is just a rotten story for her grandmother.
Oh my Lord, yeah. And then she comes to get her out of the orphanage after her parents are killed, and then as they're packing up the car, her grandmother just drops dead.
Yeah, well, apparently that's like comedic, dramatic irony, I guess. It's like,
yes,
and not for nothing, this is like 19 something or other with
easy.
Yeah, but it's a universe with Dr. Manhattan. They don't have better heart medication in that world.
I mean, unless maybe she didn't. Did she know about her heart? Oh yeah, she did say she had a heart attack.
Yeah, she had a small heart attack, but she said it was a small one. And I guess maybe the heat, because I did feel they were like doing that thing that where they oil the person up to show how sweaty.
But again, too, she had to have been in her at least in her 90s, right? Because
it was 1910.
Because we saw her as a baby in 1921. So,
well, no, then in that case, she's only like in her 50s.
No, wait, what year was that?
Well, you said it was the 1970s.
20.
It's like at most, it's the
okay, yeah,
because Angela's not that old. At most, she's like in her 50s, 60s, maybe 70s, which is when people usually die. But on the median curve, but still, it's an odd turn of events. But she dies again, leaving her in the car with. I wonder if she ever got to watch Sister Night.
You would think of it, even if she didn't at that point, you think by the time she grew up at some point, she would have hunted down that movie and watched it. I mean,
One hope.
I mean, I think she was inspired by more than just the image on the front box, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, one hopes.
But again, I
That's
mean,
what-
you know, her grandmother was like, well, you know, why do you like this one? You want to watch this? He's like, well, she looks like me.
Mhm. Yeah, well, and as it turns out, yes, she does.
Because she even said, yeah, I guess there's not a lot of that in Saigon here.
Yeah, well, true that. Although, obviously, I mean, because obviously her father was a soldier, so probably there were a lot of soldiers there were a lot of African American soldiers
Yeah.
in Vietnam, and you could likely imagine that a lot of them would still have stuck around.
Yeah. But again,
Especially because the alternative is going back to America, where wasn't the best place to be a black person. Just
not in the 70s.
FYI.
Yeah.
So
as we can attest, you know, kids do latch on to superheroes.
Oh yeah, they do, because what's not to love? But of course, his father, her father says, people wear masks are scary. Which also, again, it's one of these things where I think, that's kind of a lot to put on the fact that his father once got mad at him for wearing a mask.
Well,
it's like,
but again, you got to wonder if like the mother contributed to that fear, because the minute she tried to rub that mask off his face, like she grabbed him and took him out of that house. You don't know what this mother has been telling him for the rest of the years. He had like, oh no, your father was a dangerous man, but
Yeah, and to be fair, like I said, moving back to Tulsa, where they had a lot of people murdered when she was a baby, maybe there were a lot more men in masks who were dangerous, who said they were doing good and right things to make America great again.
I mean, he might have had a pathological fear of masks, and the minute he tried to put on a mask like his father, his mother yanked him out of there and took him, across the country.
Yeah. Clearly, Lou Gossett's character had a lot of issues going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, you figure, again, you get the Batman syndrome where you not only do you watch your parents, heck, the whole town get murdered when you're a child, but it's just like the racism and the violence. It's just at that early age. And then he had to raise himself and that baby from, he couldn't have been that old.
Yeah. And then you also get, as we're listening to Angela, what Angela basically spoke in her sleep, because we listened to Lori listening to the tapes, and basically saying how he became a police officer, but he knows he's joined the enemy, and the complex emotions, and of course, again, the idea of Bass Reeves and trust the law, which is the most complex aspect of the whole thing. It's, you have to trust the law, but sometimes the law is not just. But that our only recourse against injustice is the law. There was a great line I once read about, and I forget the person who said it, but there's that line in, I think it's Henry V, where they make this statement that says, well, what's the first thing we do when we take power? And one of his henchmen says, first thing we do is kill all the lawyers. And everyone has a good laugh. And it's something that gets said to this day about, well, kill all the lawyers. Kill all the lawyers, because lawyers are trouble. But actually, what the context of that scene is we should kill all the lawyers because they're the ones who know the law and know how to manipulate the law to show that the unjust things we are doing are unjust. And this is the complexity of law, is that, yes, evil men can utilize the law to get away with crimes. But they can only get away with crimes because there is a system that favors the person who is accused. And as all of us are much more likely to be accused of a crime than to commit a crime, we need a system that says we are protected from the accusation, because if it ever comes to a point where we are accused, we need to be defended
Mm-hmm.
because we must trust in the law.
Well,
I mean,
isn't that the whole thing? It's better to let a guilty man go free than to lock up an innocent man.
Tell that to Batman. No, I mean, because you have that strong argument. I mean, right now we had this. Trust me, I am like, sometimes I think I had a little Mandela effect recently talking to my very liberal friends about the attacks on the London Bridge recently and the cops shooting the guy.
No.
And just like, he had been subdued. He wasn't a threat. They say he had a bomb, but did he really have? But he didn't actually have a bomb. He had something that maybe looked like a bomb, and they shot him. And now everyone's not even saying, "Well, let's investigate this and see what motivations were." And it's like, nope, that's the story. Let the extrajudicial killing go forward because we've decided it's too delicate to discuss. And yeah, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I trust in the law. I trusted the law to kill people. And I know that law makes mistakes in killing people from very often. But I'd rather have the law kill someone through a very ornate and complex process than just to have people randomly killing people.
I mean, especially if it's someone who's made a conscious decision to go out and just start mass murdering people,
Well, obviously. Well, regardless, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to know, and as I say, maybe I watched too much Columbo. I always want to know the theory of the crime.
Yes.
I don't know, what was your motivation? Why was this action taken? Why did you do that? I mean, to me, the whole thing smacks of a guy wanted suicide by cop.
Maybe.
And it really, it's suicide by cop, which is a common thing in the United States. Because if you're going to go out, might as well go out in a blaze of glory, right? That's what the movies told us we should do. And I think
that's fine, but don't be taking innocent people when you do it.
Well, how else are you going to get those cops?
I know. Well, point a gun at a cop.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
point an empty gun at a cop. You'll get there's your suicide.
Exactly. But the thing is that maybe you need to be a little more circumspect before using it. I think the state always needs to be held to a much higher account.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's sort of like as we see in Watchmen world, which I guess is the big, you want that liberal Redfordarian world where the cop has to say, "Can you release my gun?" Yeah. And again, then it's like the reason you can't release the gun is because maybe the cops are being crooked with it or what have you, or there's just a problem with the system that we're pushing the button, it's not releasing. Push again. Okay, no, don't pull before we push. It's like when I tell my kids, I'm trying to unlock the door. It's like, no, don't open the door till I push the button. No, if you pull it when I push it, it's not going to work. You have to wait. Let me open it, and then you can open the door. So it could be just that simple. It's just the ridiculousness of the moment. But then I want a open and public judicial assessment of the ridiculousness that led to the tragedy.
Yeah.
And I feel that too often we just people don't have the interest in the wherewithal.
All right, here's a funny question. I mean, I guess they kind of, at least for the cops, if no one else, they have like gun control where they can't pull their guns and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I know probably only one or two people on the planet can do it, but like you could just make clones willy-nilly.
Well, I mean, clones cost a lot of money.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Probably only Lady True and Biden are the only ones who can do it.
I know, but
there's no regulation on that.
Well, there's only regulations if you tell people.
Oh, okay.
That's how crime works, Philip.
Yeah, but you would think with like when
if you're only making one or two clones.
Yeah, but you think if people would, if nothing else, people would know about those big cats fight had in this fortress at the end of the Watchmen, right?
Well, they know. Well, first off, those are cats, and we know that they're cloning animals left and right.
Yeah. Well, true.
if you're going to clone an animal, go ahead, have fun. We had that in the earlier episode. It's the little puppy mill of cloning animals.
Oh, true.
Hey, does that look like? Does that look right? Yeah, okay, throw it in.
So the cloning of animals is legal, but maybe someone's secretly taking this technology and clone. Okay, I buy that.
You think?
I know.
Yeah, but no, me and Tristan had a whole conversation about why they stopped using clone soldiers and opted for just regular soldiers, because clones cost a lot of money, and it's just cheaper to get destitute kids to join the Imperial Guard and become stormtroopers. And the thing is that's why they became not as good of shots. Because it's like, the clones were like raised and like imprinted with like perfect memories and reflexes. It's like, that is really not cost effective. And you want to build a Death Star now? It's like, look, okay, we'll approve the Death Star. We gotta cut the budget somewhere. And first thing to get cut, this clone on the line.
That's right.
Can we get some cheap, kids from Tatooine to do this? Come on, what are the kids in Tatooine doing? They'd love it. They get to go to space. They'll love it.
All right, we're so off track.
Get Tag and Binks. They'll be here in a minute.
But I mean,
was it Tag and Binks? I don't know.
We only got 2 episodes left this season.
I know. Much, that's the model. Let's do it quick and dirty. Leave them asking for more.
Well,
I was surprised. You know what's getting a second season?
What?
Lost in Space on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Blew my mind. Yeah. I guess now I have time to catch up on it before the new season drops.
Maybe they had the streaming and download numbers.
Yeah, or they own it outright, and so they can make it without a lot of cost. It's sort of how these things work.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I mean, this was just a great episode.
Oh, yeah.
So many great things discussed, and but I think we covered it all. I mean, they've all
want
to be Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been good, but these last couple ones are just like jaw dropping. Like,
yeah, well, because they're giving you what they want or what you think you want. They're giving you the reveals.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're going to undo it all in the last episode, of course. Of course, there's going to be one more twist. Say, maybe not.
But yeah,
because in the end, it doesn't all work the way you thought.
Yeah, but now it makes sense. I think the title of the next episode is "A God Walked into a Bar." That must be like the flashback of him and Angela.
Yeah, or maybe Dr. Manhattan and the comedian walking into a bar.
Ooh.
Maybe True's mother is, when we said it, couldn't he just reverse time? Just fix it all and put it all back where it was supposed to be.
I can't wait for the scene when Lori realizes that Angela's married to her ex.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Awkward. Were they actually married? I'm just curious. Were Lori and
Lori and Dr. Manhattan weren't married, but I'm just saying Angela, and she says it's her husband. I mean, are they even married?
Yeah, well, who knows?
Yeah.
It was Vietnam. Things were different then. Although, to put it to you really simply, it's one of these weird things you could think about. Like, if you're Dr. Manhattan and you see your entire future and past before you, he could totally have created records in archives for himself.
Yeah.
So that when I'm going to become that person, I have to do this. So like when Bill and Ted say, "Hey, we have a time machine. Okay, we just got to remember to put these here." Each of them, they're there.
Or I mean, even if he could have created a bunch of alternate identities that he knows he's going to step into. Yeah.
Exactly, it is wacky how it all could go into. So we'll all learn all this stuff later next week.
Yeah,
when the first of when the penultimate episode. Take a drink.
He said it, Lil.
Here. I said it. Every time you say penultimate, you have to take a drink.
Little suddenly douchebag say penultimate.
I am not denying it.
Those millennials in there.
I'm not going to go on a whole rant about how the term douchebag is a very weird sexist comment too. So I'm like, I can see some levels, I can see other levels, and I'm like, levels within levels.
He's like Dr. May. He's like Adrian Veidt. He sees levels.
I see it all, like Adrian Veidt, every angle.
All right.
The only difference is that he sees all the angles and he knows where to go. I'm like, I'm going to have a beer.
But yeah, I'm saying this publicly, whether Tyler's back the next 2 episodes or not, Charlie Esser, you got to be here the next 2 episodes. I'm sure they'll be good enough. You'll be like, yeah, I'm coming back.
I'll definitely be back. I mean, where else am I going to be? I have nothing on Mondays. Tuesdays, I'm doing The Boys with my skinny rich friend, Maz Manzoor.
That's right. Every Friday on the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yep. So I have to go rewatch 5 and 6 now. But yeah, so I'm always free if you guys are. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right.
I love this show and it's just great. I'm glad to be doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, in the meantime, Philip, do you want me to tell people how they can find me in the first place, or do you want to tell them how they can?
I'll do the show and everything first because I save you for last.
Okay.
You're a showman. Anyway, yes. Send your thoughts. There's only 2 more episodes left. You can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter for Who Podcast the Watchmen, or any of our shows. You can find it all in one place. Linktree, that's linktr.ee/capesandlunatics, and support our sponsors, Hunt a Killer, Tweaked Audio, pick up Pod Life the book in digital or paperback. And again, check our show notes. You find the link when you do your Amazon shopping. Give us a couple cents right into the pocket of Master Doom, because it costs money to put these up. So again, all hail Master Doom.
All hail Master Doom.
All right.
And of course,
Charlie Esser.
If you would like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, back before we used to slide into each other's DMs, but had to write a formal electronic mail letter saying, "My dearest such and such at Hotmail 69." It has been a week in tragic time here on the front lines of Grenada. If you would like to do that, you can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet the show, not the show where you're listening to, but the show we're talking about, The Watchmen, at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE. Yes, SCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Did a little Peter Brady there. Had my voice crack. Time to change. Time to rearrange our very molecule.
Oh, yes. Join us next time, everyone. Oh, you know what nickname I just came up with?
What?
Dr. Manzoor.
Dr. Manzoor.
It's
I'm all for it.
It's creepy because even on my app, I have like every one different color for their buttons. Like you're green, Lilith is red, Maz Manzoor blue. Dr. Manzoor.
Thanks for making me green.
Dr. Manzoor.
Dr. Manzoor. I love it. I love it all. Yeah.
What's his magic?
He is magical.
All right. Getting into the home stretch here, people. 2 more episodes, so join us next time.
Keep on wanting to say
Go let
ampersand.
squids fall on your head.